So I don't think you're safe. No, I didn't say it.
Hello, everyone. How we doing? Are you sure? All right. Well, welcome to a celebration of literature and living writers. My name is Megan Marshall. I'm the director of the Hugh C. Hyde Living Writers series, and tonight we are so lucky to have San Diego poet laureate joining us. Gonna help us to kick off National Poetry Month a few weeks early. But before I welcome her up to the podium, I do want to thank those folks who have helped to make this event and this series possible. And that includes all of our friends here at Love Library, my fabulous co-host, Marco Tumlin, and also Laura Bliss and Rebecca Williamson. I also want to thank the Department of English and Comparative Literature and instructionally related activities for their continued support of this series, as well as Michael Ramirez and our fabulous representatives from Aztec Shops who are slanging books in the back of the room. Hi, y'all. It is also essential to acknowledge the space that we are privileged to share this evening. For millennia, the Kumeyaay people have been a part of this land. This land has nourished, healed, and protected and embraced them for many generations. And as members of the SDSU community, we acknowledge and celebrate this legacy. Lastly, please silence your cell phones if you've yet to do so, and know that the event is being recorded, but don't worry, all you see is this up here. If you are interested in viewing this event, in addition to many other amazing living writers related content, please subscribe, like, comment on YouTube. All right, without further ado, I'm honored to introduce tonight's featured reader. Paola Capó-García is a poet and educator from San Juan, Puerto Rico. She currently designs professional development opportunities for educators and mentors, early career teachers. Capó-García is the author of Clap for Me, That's Not Me, selected by D.A. Powell as the winner of Rescue Press's 2017 Black Box Poetry Prize. Her poems have appeared in the Volta, the Texas Review, Latino Book Review, Jubilat, Poetry Society of America, Academy of American Poets, and others. And as mentioned previously, she's serving as our fabulous San Diego Poet Laureate until next year. Oh, and by the way, in case anybody's wondering, she's a Virgo. All right. As Poet Laureate, fellow Virgos in the house, all right. As Poet Laureate, Paola works as an ambassador for the medium and a conduit to spark interest among those who might not envision a place for themselves at poetry's table. She recently launched an initiative titled Apertura, which means opening. Of the initiative, in an interview with KPBS, Paola said, "This project creates space for more people to see themselves in poetry and to use art to tell the story of San Diego. Through workshops, collaborations, and exhibitions, the project is designed to be welcoming and accessible." Another great poet and literary citizen, Patricia Smith, tells us that we look to the news for the news. We look to poetry for the truth. In precarious times like these, it is paramount that we seek more of these truths, specifically ones shared from those who have been historically not welcome, not given access. Paola's own poetry seeks to explore these layered truths, ones of intersectionality, gender politics, the power of language, and the paradox of identity. I don't want to be in the screen, just being in its presence. It makes me believe in the fiction of it all. And what are we, if not everything around the fiction? This fiction is HD, declares her speaker. A voice that later comes to acknowledge, maybe even embrace this in-betweenness. Feeling tired, but ready to be mobile and perky. Feeling like I shouldn't do that. Feeling like I should wait half an hour. Feeling mostly myself. Please join me in welcoming Paola.
Hello, how are we doing? Really, really happy to be here. I have never read at San Diego State, so this feels cozy and great. Full disclosure, I am not at my speaking best. I had gum surgery like a week and a half ago, so my mouth feels like it's kind of wired shut a little bit. So, you know, take that into consideration. Hopefully you don't notice it, but I feel like I notice it. Again, really happy to be here. Thank you, Megan, so much. We met on the USD campus for the KPBS Book Fest and then started kind of dreaming this up. So thank you so much for including me in something as special as this. I wish all campuses had a program like this. So thank you. Thanks for being here. Thanks for making some time for poetry today. I'm going to read a few poems from my book. Clap for me, that's not me. And then I'm going to read some new stuff that is hopefully a future book, in an effort to be vulnerable and read things that are not super vetted or revised. And that's kind of the exercise for me, is I gauge what your faces are doing when I read it, and that's going to help me edit them later. So be animated. If you hate something, let me know. All right, I'm going to start with Clap for Me. And I recently did a reading at UCSD, which I graduated from the MFA program at UCSD years ago. And I came back last week and I did their new writing series, which felt like a really cool full circle moment. But I read from this book, and I have not read from this book in a while, so it feels like I'm time traveling to myself in my 20s when I read this, which is both scary and cool. So I'm going to start with an untitled poem. You single? You come here often? You live around here? You drinking? You ready? You think so? You want to take this outside? You would. You feel me. You speak good. You speak now. You say things. You smile wide. You soften. You do. You understand. You need a ride. You get it. You should. You special. You from here. You legal. You blush. You busy. You believe in God. You good. You vote. You like that. You require that. You can. You knew. You need a hand. You take it. You all right. You feel that. You feel everything. You feel good. You know it. You want it. You accept it. You want to settle this. You into it. You ready. You impress everyone. You want to come over. You needed that. You better for it. You must. You island. You whole. You citizen. You lady. You peach. This one's called Yellow, and I have an epigraph in it, inspired by Gertrude Stein, a line that she wrote that is, "Dirty is yellow." When I was young, I thought the soul was a body part. To the right of my heart and in between the pre-breasts, this soul thing would nest. And then one day it fell out. No, it stuck around too long and made a house of my insides. The walls were yellow, which I now know is the color of hunger. And that's why I crave baby chicks and gold. There was so much furniture shoved inside of me, and even if the decor was mid-century, the style was mortal. My memory is hungry. She wanted me to paint my face every morning. Makeup could enhance, better, make use of this face. But then my dog licked the second face off, clean. That is my favorite movie. And I did, in fact, when I was young, think that the soul was an actual body part. I was like, it's like the heart, it's next to it, right? It's a soul. So, you learn the hard way by being made fun of by your brother. That's how I'm. This poem is called Girl Part, and I wrote it as a collaborative poem with my MFA wife, Maria Flacavento, who's an incredible poet. We both gave each other the prompt to write a poem called Girl Part, and so this is my poem, and she has her own version. So this is for Maria. The space between me and right now is the money shot. Look at me swimming in this gap. A girl part is a part that belongs to me. Sometimes perversity happens and I don't know what to do with myself. Others seem to know. A girl part looks at you with its properties. Been meaning to tell you something. A girl part is a souvenir, a piece of produce. A contract says what our parts are allowed to do. I'm gonna do a little like, wherever the page lands, that'll be the last poem I read from this book. No, I lied. All right, mobility. I keep finding people living in my house. Mouths I'd never seen before. Expressions through paint chips and light fixtures. I keep coming back to this place I label house because my plane tickets are designed to get me here, and the bed has been made in the shape of an invitation. I learned to ride a bike on Wednesday and felt new. I always resisted. I didn't know how to balance on pavement or glitter. I didn't know why that would be required of me. This bike does not know the road to my house. Website says, woman in tight dress slips on butter for 20 minutes, calls it art. Well, what would you call that? An accident? It seems really lovely to me, how the butter would go in and out of her pores as if it's always been trying to get back to that place. All right, so some new ones. This is for me, by the way. Oh, how lovely. Thank you. My partake. A mix of poems that I've written in the past 5 years, a few of these written in the past month, and so they're very, very fresh. And yeah, help me revise these. Thank you. This one's called Unas por Otras. This poem is a poem that I wrote after an entire lifetime of having my name butchered, especially via email. So it's, yeah, the amount of emails I get addressed to Paola, Paola, Paolo, it happens a lot. So this poem is a micro poem about that. Unas por Otras. Every email opens with a violence. A U for an O for an A, an attempt to correct, fix the broken thing, inch it closer to the familiar. Not erasure, but unsolicited revision. When a name isn't what you expect, you take it upon yourself to make it yours. You pet it, sing to it, then deny it water. No context for this. This is called kind. I wish I were the kind of person who could get a tattoo on a whim, who could go a whole day without swiping my credit card. The kind of writer who shows up to her desk every day and types, even when it's bad. The kind who always has a pithy quote for a syllabus at the ready or understands foreign policy really well. I wish I were a more disciplined person when it came to food exercise, spending, loving, making, walking my dogs, brushing their teeth, changing out the sheets, saying what I mean and meaning what I say. I wish my heels reached the floor in downward dog on the first try. I wish I were the kind of person who could have 3 cocktails without puking, have stamina, the kind who remembers to change the Brita filter. I never wish I were younger, but I do wish my libido and metabolism were, and I wish I'd had a hoe phase in my 20s, and I hope he'll never leave me. Wish I were the kind of person who didn't assume she was forgettable. I wish I made more memorable things for my life to be worthy of memory. I think the yoga part is the part that people relate to the most in that poem. This poem is called Refund. I'm really proud to have this poem featured at the Museum of Us. So if you ever go to the Museum of Us to the new Race and Power exhibition, which is incredible, by the way, they redid that exhibition after years and years. And it has such incredible contemporary art connections, and they've really localized it and made it more specific to the San Diego region. And the ways in which we understand race and its relationship to power. But they asked to include one of my poems as part of the outdoor portion of the exhibition. So my poem is there amongst the trees, and I really love it, and it's going to be there for 10 years. So this is that poem, Refund. What does it mean to relish any opportunity to return? To purchase something only to turn around and reject it. The power of put down, reverie in refusal, never keeping anything that is not your favorite thing, never settling for the object that is not the apple of your eye, making it your mission to get back what you gave, to confront the giver's sins, to not only look back, but reach back and grab. I am a chronic returner. I come back to the scene of the crime. I get my refund. Let them know I'm not satisfied. These next 2 poems are about being a teacher, so maybe my fellow teachers will relate. This one in particular is about grading. It's like 90% of teaching sometimes. And Megan, this was for you as a dancer. There are many dance references in this. So. It's called 8 Count. I am your favorite high school teacher, which means I give bits of myself to the lowest bidder. A piece here from my hip to the lonely, a piece of my heart to the weary, a chunk of thigh for the curious, a song for the indifferent. The exhaustion has not been exaggerated. I am barely standing, only articulating from memory. I am thankful for the past, for giving me a script for this moment, for allowing me to command the room while balancing fuckability and nurture. Isn't that the goal? Everything I dreamed of as a child? Every birthday wish come true? Grading requires space and choreography. Every be more specific is a pas de bourrée. Each why, a chassé. The length of my the most beautiful arabesque you've ever seen. This paper is the stage of our unfolding. Also, too, as sort of women identifying teachers, we understand that at times things that shouldn't appear in our surveys appear. Things about our appearance, our outfits, many, many things. And so that also makes an appearance in that poem. Where would you go? Oh, here you are. This one is specifically about being a writing teacher. and sort of connecting with students or getting them to connect with themselves through prompts. And sometimes I love prompts and they get the best writing out of me and my students, and sometimes they feel like giant hurdles and limitations. And so this is my poem about the complicated nature of prompts. Prompts. I've done them all. Self-portraits, dream inventories, anaphoras and guzzles. Write the story of your name in second person. Tell your most shameful secret in tercets. Describe your childhood in 5 senses. Dimetap, velvet, cigarettes, ráfagas, spaghetti straps. Nothing is revealed. Only my aversion to taking anything seriously, which is just pragmatism. Something wants to break through the poem. The ghosts are hard at work, but it's pointless. I won't be lectured. This one I wrote this week. I was interviewed recently by the San Diego Tribune for like a quick article. I just found it hilarious that the interviewer felt like it was really necessary to ask me, how much influence does Bad Bunny have on my writing? And I wish I could say it's the first time anyone's ever asked me that. So this poem is called Please Don't Ask Me About Bad Bunny. I'm having such a good time. Let's not ruin it. Other things have happened on islands, I swear. If you dig a little deeper, you'll find oceans of history, an entire archive of happenings. Other things have been said in Puerto Rico, if you listen. Just the other day, my mom said, Mal rayo parta. And then my brother talked about the global seduction of tourism. And I know you want to say, I love that song, Turista, but that's not what we're talking about, Dave. I mean, I love Bad Bunny. We can talk about Bad Bunny. I'm just not really an influence in my writing. So this is called Hot Take. I sit in the sauna to get away from my phone. The suffocation is freeing. Fingers unburdened. We go from starvation and limbs to watch how this makes my eyes pop. And the word pop has never felt more visceral. We are post-reason, post-witness, post-meaning, post-care, post-haste. I need a revolution like I need a facial. I need a revolution like I need a new book deal. We are racking up facts faster than we ever have, but the facts aren't as sexy as your hot take. Nothing is as hot as this unrelenting offline sauna. Outside is a carcass. Your hot take is absolving the room. Your hot take is snatching bodies. Your hot take has launched a ground assault. Your hot take won a Peabody. Your hot take is not taking any questions right now. I got 2 more for you. This one is also very recent. I wrote it about 2 weeks ago, and it got me excited about the future. Not every poem gets me excited about the future, but this got me excited to sort of stay on track. This isn't to say that you have to love it too, but I feel good about it, so I'm going to read it. It's called Plot. I want to speak to you, but you're lost in the archive again. I admit she's more interesting. Recently, I ran out of things to say. How does someone fill up a life's worth and keep it fresh? No one taught me how. Someone once tried to teach me how to turn all this emptiness into poetry, but I'm losing the plot. Each poem tongue-tied, a labor, a dead weight. I finally got your attention, but it's too late. Please don't perceive me. I'm not ready. I want to finish with a poem about my grandmother. Today's her birthday. Would have been her birthday. She passed away a year and a half ago. Feeling it right here in the throat right now, talking about her. So I'm gonna. I have two poems about her. This is the one that doesn't make me cry. So I'm gonna end with this. Carry her with me wherever I go in my work. Her English wasn't great, so she never fully read my book, but she took a lot of pride in saying that one of her granddaughters wrote a book. So this is for her. And for context, in Puerto Rico during the holidays, we eat lechon. Does anyone know lechon? It's like a spit roast pig, kind of like in Hawaii. And so lechon has the really, really tough skin, like the pork skin, but that's the most delicious part. And so cuerito, it's like the exciting part is to eat that, but it's also very, very tough on the teeth. So that's for context. Matriarca para mamima. And if your soft teeth want to gnaw on the cuerito, then puñeta, your soft teeth will gnaw on the cuerito. Your small act of resistance for the day, demanding the food that will finish ruining you. Porque tú eres la matriarca. And this is how you stay alive. You affirm your right to make bad choices. Thank you so much, everyone.
For that gorgeous reading. And it's lovely to hear some newer poems. I mean, it's so brave to get up here and read a poem that you just wrote like a week ago. So appreciate that. And for all she does for the poetry community in San Diego. Let's give Paola another round.
Every project, which all of you should have heard it in some way. So apertura, which Megan mentioned, means opening, is my signature project as poet laureate. They asked us to have a project during the second year of our tenure. I am a former high school teacher, and my biggest passion is combining poetry and visual art to make it feel more accessible to people, and to get us using our hands. And so there are two branches of this project. The first one, the one that came about initially, is a zine project. And so has anyone ever been to Bernal Books in Normal Heights? They're the best. Go. They're an incredible zine archive and Rizzo printing studio. They have tons of free workshops. If you ever just want to go and make things, their zine jams are all free and super fun. But I really want to bring zine making and poetry together. Zine making has such an important countercultural, anti-authoritarian history and DIY history. And so I want to connect that to poets here in San Diego. So there are 3 issues that we are going to publish. One is 18 and under writers to celebrate our youth poets. The other one is for formerly or currently incarcerated people, so all justice impacted people, and we'll be working inside some prisons to be able to achieve that, and with other organizations in San Diego. And the third issue is for anyone who identifies as Latina or Filipino, and it's going to be a full celebration of Latina and Filipino poets in San Diego. And I'll be editing that one with the former poet laureate, the great Jason Magabo Perez. Yeah, look him up. His incredible. Please read his books. He's incredible, and a professor at CSU San Marcos. So the zine portion is one. The other one that I think maybe someone in here would be really interested, and all of these things are free. In May, we will be hosting a series of video poetics workshops. I am partnering with a filmmaker, and we will write a poem together. Every person will have their own poem. We'll do a workshop together, and for the last 3 sessions, you will turn that poem into an experimental short film. And those films will be exhibited at the Athenaeum Art Center in the Bread and Salt Building in Barrio Logan. And it will be an exhibition from October 2026 to January 2027. So your work will be in this gallery for 3 months. And we will have a massive celebration, zine release party, video poetic screening in November. So look out for those dates. But if you'd like to participate in any part of this project, please come talk to me. I'll share my email or Instagram and we can chat. Okay, I hope you submit and I hope that you participate in our workshops.